guys, it's the Beardy Red Viking. I hope you're all well. I'm back today with another video. This time I'm doing a contest entry for Kim over at This Is Music. About a month back he started a contest for the summer in which he's given away a couple of CDs. I think he's got 5 CDs to give away from a band called Anoxia. I'm not familiar with them myself, but he describes them as a Danish thrash metal band. So that sounds cool to me. I'm definitely up for trying that out. So what he asked us to do in the first place was to give a shout out for another channel on YouTube in the VC that we think maybe deserves a bit more attention. And secondly, he's asked us to show off 5 Melodic albums. So in terms of the shout outs, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to start off with the obvious. I've got to shout out Kim. His channel is fantastic. He's always making videos. So many of them it's sometimes hard to keep up with, but I always make sure I do my best to do that because he's always interesting, he's always informative, he's a funny guy, he's got an epic beard, he's got a huge collection, a lot of stuff that I don't know, always introduced him to stuff, and he's got a lot of epic t-shirts as well. So shout out to Kim, thank you very much for the contest, and good luck to anyone that does enter. If you want to enter, all you need to do is film one of these videos or go over to his channel, and you can also just leave a comment on this video if you want to do that as well. So make sure you check his channel out. I'll leave a link at the end as I normally do on these VC threads. And secondly, my main shout out is to a good friend of mine called Mastodon Mart. He focused initially on showing t-shirts on his videos, his t-shirt talk videos where he shows off a lot of t-shirts that he's purchased at gigs over the years and tells a story behind them where he has one. If not, he's got plenty of information about the bands. He's also recently started showing off CDs, vinyl that he's picked up recently. So go and check his channel out. His name's Martin, Mastodon Mart. Sound guy, been chatting to him for a good 6 months or so now about all things music and video games related. We've had a lot of chats about Elden Ring, we've both been pretty obsessed. He's just finished that, so congratulations mate. Got the platinum, which I'm not sure I'm ever going to manage that. But anyway, that's another video. First up is the album that's playing in the background, which is Portals to Euphoria by Detonation from 2005. It was released on Osmos Productions. They're a melodic death metal band from Utrecht in the Netherlands. Sort of classic melodeath sound, plenty of catchy hooks, guitar harmonies, but there's also an added layer of brutality, I find, with a lot of thrashy riffs and even blast beats in places, as you might be able to hear sometimes in the background there. I discovered them in about 2005, that's when this album came out. I'm not sure if it was 2005 or 2006, I saw them at Music Box in Manchester, which is now sadly closed, supporting Decapitated. Absolutely loved them, bought this album and their debut EP, and I then saw them again a year or 2 later at my local pub, the Thatched House, which again has also sadly closed down. They used to put on some pretty mad gigs. Remember they put Orange Goblin on in there, the place was absolutely rammed. It was just a little local pub, a rock pub, little bikers and that, always frequenting there. I was in there all the time myself, loved the place, sadly closed down. Saw these guys there. Absolutely brilliant band in my book. Do something a little bit different with the melodeath. I think it's heavier in places, as I've mentioned already. They only did 4 albums. Apparently they're still active, but they've not made anything new since 2011. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully they'll bring something else out in the future. We shall see. Next up, we've got Isis with Oceanic, their 2002 release on Ipecac Recordings. Now this is a groundbreaking post-metal classic in my opinion. Lots of epic sludgy soundscapes with tons of atmosphere, long songs up to 10 minutes in places. You have quiet sort of post-rock passages followed by louder, heavier sections. The vocals are harsh, abrasive, and the songs tend to build up to a crescendo of heaviness with a constant flourish of melody throughout. If you don't know Isis, I highly recommend checking them out. Next, I've got Shrine Builder with their self-titled 2009 mini album. It's only got 5 songs in it, that's why I'm not sure what to call it. It's about 30-40 minutes long in length. Now, if you may have heard of these. If you've not heard of them, I'm sure you'll have heard at least a couple of the dudes in the band. It's got Scott Kelly from Neurosis. It's got Scott Weinrich on vocals and guitar. He's from St. Vitus. And it's also got Al Cisneros from Sleep on the bass and Dale Crover from Melvins on the drums. So it's without question a super group. It's a Stoner Doom sort of super group, as you might expect. It's full of passages of heavy, intense, aggressive guitar work, powerful drums, deep droning bass lines, which give way to almost trance-inducing, psyche, melodic, almost jam-like sections, generally in the middle of the song. So it starts off heavy, moves into those kind of sections, and then tends to build back up into a heavy crescendo at the end. There's 3 vocalists, so they bring a nice dynamic to the vocal stylings, and yeah, absolutely great album. If you've not heard of it, I highly recommend giving it a go. Brilliant stuff. So next is an album I've already shown recently on my box set video. Now, I had this on in the background of that video and I enjoyed it so much, I thought I would have to show it again on this because it fits in nicely and it deserves a shout out, to be perfectly honest with you. It's absolutely brilliant. It's Ancient Ascendant with Into the Dark. It's an EP / mini album from 2012 on 4Print Records. It's limited edition, 283 of 300. This is a band from Reading, UK. Now, they released a few albums, 3 full lengths I think, 1 before this, 2 after, and then this EP mini album in between. They have unfortunately now disbanded, which I'm a bit gutted about because I just discovered them and I'm going to be buying anything I can find by them. I say just discovered them, I bought the album a good few years ago, probably listened to it once or twice, enjoyed it, stuck it on the shelf with 1,000 other CDs and kind of forgot about it. When I dug it out the other day, I've been listening to it consistently over the last couple of weeks since I filmed that video. It's absolutely awesome. Sort of death metal with a touch of technicality. The odd thrashy riff here, there's black metal-esque vitriol, there's an acoustic intro that bleeds into a crushing opener, ferocious vocal delivery throughout, stellar musicianship. The musicianship on display is absolutely incredible. The artwork is fantastic as well. It's Richie Beckett, who's done a fair bit of artwork for a lot of metal bands. I believe he's done some posters and stuff for Metallica, as well as plenty of other bands. I think he might have been involved with Baroness at one point, doing something alongside John By Baisley on one of their albums. But yeah, it's a blend of melody and brutality, which is for me reminiscent of early Opeth. I cannot recommend this highly enough. It's absolutely fantastic. It's dynamic. It's got, as I say, a lot of melodic passages, a lot of melodic guitar work, but then it's crushingly heavy in places. Plenty of groove. The closing riff is catchy as fuck. It's a right groover. 5 tracks. It's over within 20 minutes or so, but you're going to enjoy it. If you enjoy a bit of death metal, technical death metal with maybe a bit of a blackened edge, I definitely recommend giving this a go. Okay, so next is something a little bit different. This is Coma with The Second Wave from 2006. Now this is a sort of post-rock band featuring a couple of members of Cult of Luna and 1 or 2 other bands that I'm not overly familiar with. It's got a couple of songs on there that you might have heard on Kerrang or Skulls if you watched any of those back in the day on the telly. There was a song called Stop Making Speeches and one called Medea. Both were played quite heavily on there and I really enjoyed them. Picked up the album the same day as I got 10,000 Days by Tool and I enjoy this album greatly. It's, as I say, sort of post-rock. As I say, with Cult of Luna's members being involved, it's sonically similar, though not as heavy. In terms of the vocal delivery, it's entirely melodic vocally. There's no screaming, no gutturals, none of that. It's sort of epic, brooding, melancholic tracks filled with melody. There's occasional additions of orchestral instrumentation. You've got piano sections, cellos, violins. The thing is filled with atmosphere. Might not be for everyone, but it's definitely worth a try as something of a palate cleanser. So highly recommend giving it a go if you want something a little bit different. Coma, The Second Wave. That came out on Roadrunner Records, incidentally. Now finally I've got After from the almighty Ishan. Now a lot of you will probably know Ishan as the vocalist and guitarist of Emperor. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays pretty much everything on this album apart from a couple of instruments. He doesn't play the bass, he doesn't play the drums, and there's a lot of saxophone on this album, believe it or not, which you might not think sounds like it would suit, but it really does. It's sort of progressive, experimental, extreme metal. The guy is sickeningly talented, absolutely sickeningly brilliant at everything he does. I love Emperor, and this is just an expansion of that work. It's heavy, it's technical, it's experimental. As I mentioned, there's saxophone parts sprinkled all over it, and the vocals range from the black metal shrieks that you might expect from Jean to lush, clean melodies, bleak lyrical themes, again a lot of atmosphere, the crushingly heavy, percussive, aggressive sections are frequently descending into freakish, almost spazzy jazz sections, and then they seamlessly transition back into twisted brutality. That's the only way I can describe this album. It's absolutely insane. Unhinged, you could probably call it, but it's superb. The quality does not relent throughout. Masterful piece of work, and if you don't know Jean, I highly recommend giving it a go. So that's my list of melodic albums. I like to try and get a few different types of music in there. As I say, you've got the death metal, black metal, elements of stoner, doom, post-rock, post-metal, hardcore, all of that in there. 6 albums I highly recommend giving a go if you don't know them already. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to This Is Music and check out his channel, and if you want to enter the competition, make sure you do so. And as I mentioned, give Mastodon Mart a follow as well. Highly recommend checking out his channel. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Beardy Red Viking, out.